I want to talk to you this morning about a mistake that I made about 7 years ago. And that mistake was buying this purse for my wife. All men want to take care of their wives, but buying one of these Louis Vuitton purses might not be the best way to do it. Because what you see here behind me is not evidence that I'm moving. It is part of my wife's collection of Louis bags that she has since gotten into. So, as husbands, as men, it's our responsibility to take care of our wives, make them happy. And so this short video here is just a man's guide to what you need to know about Louis bags. Now, this is the first one I bought. I bought it 6 or 7 years ago. When I bought it, it was about $600, I think. Brand new. We bought it at the Louis store. And my wife still talks about that day as one of the greatest moments of her life. About 2 years ago, I told her it was looking a little ragged, a little beat up, and that she ought to think about replacing it with another bag. And this is what happened. You're thinking about buying a Louis Vuitton bag for your wife. What do you need to know? Well, there are 3 different kinds of canvas patterns. These are the most recognizable bags that Louis Vuitton makes. They're canvas, right? So even though this material might look like leather, it's actually a weatherized canvas. It's supposed to be fireproof, weatherproof, and so on. This is the first pattern. This is called the monogram pattern, and you can see it's got the LV logo printed on it. This is one pattern. This is the second pattern. It's called Damier Ebene, and it's just a dark brown checkered pattern. It's somewhat less recognizable, but pretty popular. This is the third pattern. This is called Damier Azur, and it's just a light checkered pattern, right? So it's the same as the darker checkered pattern, except the colors are a little bit different. So this is the third bag. Now, there are 3 different kinds of canvas patterns. Those are the most popular. They hold their value the best, but there are others. So there are leather patterns. So this is a white leather bag with the monogram pattern on it. And you can see there's a red bag here. This one is this one here that looks like a school lunchbox is actually also made of leather. These tend to be more trendy. They tend to be less recognizable as Louis bags, and therefore less desirable, in my view. The main reason to carry a Louis Vuitton bag is so that everybody else can see that you're carrying a Louis Vuitton bag. And if you can't immediately recognize that that's what it is, then you've sort of lost the battle from the very start. Now, there's also the world of what are called SLGs, or small leather goods. These are leather wallets, card holders, key holders, things that are essentially designed to go inside of the absurdly expensive purses in order to hold your stuff in a more organized way. The small leather goods are much cheaper than the purses, but they're still insanely, absurdly expensive. So keep in mind that that is true. The patterns are the same. Monogram, Damier Azur, and so on. I've only got a small smattering of all the different small leather goods that she has. This is a little bag charm that's made of that same canvas material. This one I got in Tokyo while I was on a trip because I know that she's bananas for it. I paid something like 20 or 30,000 yen for it, which works out to just over $200. And it's got this kabuki kind of painting thing on it. So they make special editions from time to time. And that's just another way to spend money. So these are the small leather goods. Now, there are a variety of different styles of bags, and they all have names. This guy is called Odeon, I think. I don't really know. I can't keep up with the names of these bags, but My wife certainly knows. So my advice would be to look at the other purses that she currently carries if you're going out to buy a Louis bag, and buy something that's similar to it. So if you look at this bag is intended to be worn across the body. And so if your wife already carries bags like that, then maybe a crossbody bag would be a good selection. This bag has these top handles, right? So you couldn't obviously wear this across your body. You couldn't sling it over your shoulder. This would be something you'd carry in your hand, or maybe hook through your elbow or something like that. And so you have to pay attention to how your wife carries the purses she has today. And that will help you decide which is the right purse for you to get. Now, there are a few crazy things about Louis bags that you need to know. There is a thriving used market. They don't say used, they say pre-loved, which is genius marketing, I suppose. But anyway, there are sites out on the web that you can find just by Googling pre-loved Louis Vuitton, and you can find places where you can buy used bags for still absurdly expensive prices, but less. The other thing to notice about these bags is that they really are intensely high quality. The stitching is incredibly even. There are no sewing machine marks where they've done zigzaggy stitches or anything like that to lock it a stitch or something like that. The edges of the leather are all treated carefully and maintained. Everything about these bags says high quality. And so despite the extremely high price tag, what you find is that these bags are very high quality and that they last. So this bag, which was used every day for 6, 7, 8 years, something like that, this bag is still in great shape. The zipper is still incredibly smooth, excellent quality, and all those details are there. You can see the leather is a bit dirty and a bit beat up. Some of the leathers that Louis Vuitton offers are treated. Some of them are untreated. And the untreated ones turn out to be more susceptible to this kind of aging and discoloring that you see here. Louis will replace the leather, the zippers, everything but the canvas, essentially, in repairing these bags. But of course, there's a hefty price tag with that as well. Now, there's one more thing that you're going to want to see on these bags. Every bag that Louis makes somewhere has a label to tell you where it's made. But this bag says Louis Vuitton, Paris, made in France. Up until the 90s or so, all of the Louis Vuitton bags were made in France. Later, more recent purses have been made in places like Spain, Italy, and so on. So finding a bag that actually says made in France is good, right? Not all bags are made in France. There are some things that are only made in, say, Spain or something like that. But looking at that mark and noticing where it's from, the genuine France ones are ones that my wife tends to like better. So if there's a particular place that you're fond of, then that's one way to add an additional bit of kind of personalization without spending any more money, because the ones in France cost the same as the ones from Spain and the same as the ones from Italy and so on. Okay, well, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching to the end, and hope you have a great day.